Hello, everybody. I'm John Locke, and I'd like to welcome you to the LockeInYourSuccess.com Trading Performance Podcast, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. Listen up and enjoy the segment. The premise of this book is that doing well with money has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. And behavior is hard to teach to even really smart people. Ordinary folks with no financial education can be wealthy if they have a handful of behavioral skills that have nothing to do with a formal education or formal measures of intelligence. And I think this is true, and I also think that this frustrates a lot of people who consider themselves highly educated and successful in their current career or their past career because they see other less educated people coming into this business and being very successful, and they then jump into conclusions about how easy it's going to be to make money trading, which if you've been at this for a while, you know, or depending on how you behave, you know that this can be quite challenging. Another thing that he says is we think about and are taught about money in ways that are too much like physics with rules and laws, and not enough like psychology with emotions and nuance. Now, he's talking about money and not trading specifically, but trading, you'll find, has the exact same characteristics. So, and therein lies the problem. Okay, with many inspiring traders, they're looking for rules and laws about how the market works, rules and laws about how implied volatility works. And then they're also looking for trading rules about how to consistently take advantage of the rules and laws that the markets are following, while missing the point that the market is not following rules and laws. The market's created through emotional behaviors. And it's this very expectation that it's going to follow these rules and laws that is preventing traders from becoming successful in their trading. So if we go to the next slide here, it says engineers can determine the cause of bridge collapse because there's agreement that if a certain amount of force is applied to a certain area, that things are going to break, right? The bridge isn't going to work. Physics in that manner is not controversial, right? Anybody can do the tests and everybody can see that that is indeed the case, right? It's guided by laws. Finance is different than that. Finance is guided by people's behaviors and realize that how I might behave might make sense to me, but it might be completely crazy to you. To grasp why people bury themselves in debt, you don't need to study interest rates. You need to study the history of greed, insecurity, and optimism. To get why investors sell out at the bottom of a bear market, you don't need to study the math of expected future returns. You need to think about the agony of looking at your family and wondering if your investments are imperiling their future. All of us, you, me, and everyone, go through life anchored to a set of views about how money works that vary wildly from person to person. What seems crazy to you might make complete sense to me. Therefore, financial success is not a hard science. It's a soft skill where how you behave is more important than what you know, right? Going back to the earlier statement we made in the book. The challenge for us is that no amount of studying or open-mindedness can genuinely recreate the power of fear and uncertainty. Interesting. So fear and uncertainty is what drives the market price. Fear and uncertainty is what drives implied volatility, not rules, not laws, not guidelines. And therefore, in order to understand the market, we need to work on trying to understand psychology. This is why we have Ultimate Income Trader, for example. If for those of you who've been to the Ultimate Income Trader program, we talk about what drives market behavior, what drives price movements, and what drives implied volatility within the marketplace. And the reason that I put that program together and the reason that that is so important and critical is because you're not going to become a wildly successful, consistent trader by following a set of rules and laws. and hoping they work. You need to bring in the nuance and the understanding of psychology and why the market moves the way that it does. And that's where you're going to become tremendously successful. And that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to see in the next Trading Performance podcast, please list that in the comments and I'll personally answer your questions and comments for you. Also, I'd love to encourage you to come on over to lockinyoursuccess.com. That's LOCKE in yoursuccess.com and check out our Trading Performance and Pro memberships, where you can find the tools you need to become a much more effective trader, regardless of the type of trading you do. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance podcast.